Good evening, everybody. Welcome to round one of our 1979 DRM series, coming to you from the Diepholz airfield. I am Jason White. I'll be your play-by-play announcer for this series. Happy New Year to our ISO fans and drivers. Hope you had a joyous and restful holiday season. Our drivers are currently in the warm-up session, getting used to full fuel loads and race-specific settings, so let me run down the top 10 for you in qualifying as time expired. On the pole for tonight's race, Grant Riddall with a time of 56.178 seconds. In second, only 0.3 of a second back, is Anders Nilsson. Third, Nicholas Kirsten. Fourth, Alberto Aquino. Fifth, Cesarius Lipinski. Sixth, Richard Coxon. Seventh, Tim Hilla. Eighth is John Team. Ninth, Richard Wilkes. And 10th, Liam Dolan. So that is your top 10 to start tonight's first round of our DRM Series Division 2 at Diepholz. So, we kick off our 1979 DRM series, as I said, at the Diepholz airfield. Racing occurred at Diepholz in 1968 due to a lack of permanent facilities in Germany. It was used mainly for touring car racing. It was a well-known venue for the DTM series. When DTM series folded at the end of 1996, the circuit did not have much use. In 1997 to 98, the circuit hosted races for Formula Koenig, Formula Renault 2.0 Germany, and the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Since then, the track has not hosted any races, but this is 1979, and we are running Division 2 DRM cars here. One notable aspect of this circuit, at least for this evening, is that it's going to be run in a counterclockwise fashion, which is not often seen in European racing. The chicanes that you see there along the main runway are corralled by big, giant tire barriers, so pinpoint precision will be required to make a clean entry and exit. We're hopefully not going to see any major collisions at the chicanes, but that's always a possibility on a circuit like this. Our drivers will be traversing this course for 40 laps, which equals 104 kilometers. So we're specifically running the Division 2 races. Division 2 from the DRM 1979 series. What is Division 2? Well, let's walk you through what that means for those of you who are the uninitiated. Division 1, for context, is the specific class that the Deutsche Rennsportmeisterschaft gave to over 2,000 cc displacement engine vehicles. That's 2 liters. And those would be vehicles like the Porsche 934 and 935, Carrera RSR as examples of the cars that would be in the Division 1 category. Division 2 is for cars with 2,000 cc's displacement and under. And it's important to add that this division we're running this evening includes both turbocharged and normally aspirated vehicles. And it looks like the turbocharged vehicles are having the upper hand right now because the top 6 cars in qualifying were all turbocharged. So it'll give you an idea of the relative performance of some of these vehicles. For Division 2 in 1979, the governing body of the DRM aimed to counter accelerating engine developments and advancements by increasing the minimum weight of turbocharged cars from 735 kilograms to 885. And that may not seem like a heck of a lot, but when you're racing at speed, it's certainly a lot. This rule changed in 1979, and it was applied to both privateer and works efforts. Historically, it didn't make that much of a difference. The turbocharged cars were still the class of the field, but we'll see if that plays out in a sim environment. Group 5 cars. These are all Group 5 designated cars, and of this era, they're also known as silhouette cars. This is due to the fact that the body shape resembles the original production vehicle on which it's based, and then is modified into a high-performance vehicle. Group 5 coachwork rules allowed for almost any modification apart from protruding sharp edges to an unreasonable degree, door shape and roof shape. So that's why you see the door shape cut in on the sides of these cars. That's because you can't change the door shape, and the roof shape stays the same. So you can do almost anything except for a few things. And one more slide here, giving us some key information. The Group 5 car rear wings could not be any wider than the cabin, and additionally, the cars could not be any wider than 2 meters. So that gives you an idea of what these cars are like. The real interesting part, of course, tonight will be how turbocharged cars fare versus the normally aspirated cars, and I'll be doing my very best to make sure that I identify cars as turbocharged or non-turbocharged, because it's not really possible to notice that just watching them on the track. So I have that information in front of me, and I'll make sure that I'm referring to that as we go along. So the points scheme for this series. Here's how it breaks down for Division 2. 20 points for first place, 15 for second, 12 for third, 10 for fourth, 8 for fifth, 6 for sixth, and then 4, 3, 2, and 1. To be classified, drivers must cross the finish line after the winning driver has finished. And just to make things a little bit more crazy and hard to decipher for us commentators, the best 9 results count towards each driver's championship total. This is an 11-race series, I believe, so that means 2 scores would be dropped. All right, so why don't we go out on the track now and see what's going on, see if we can pick up somebody and go for a ride. Find somebody who's just about ready to finish a lap. Well, why don't we hang with Grant Riddall, because he's our pole sitter, and it'll give us an idea of how he's doing. He's on the backside of the course that's closest to the airfield right now, or the hangars and that sort of thing. Now he's coming down to the final corner, which is a left-hander. Let's go on board. And here we go. Coming up to speed. And look at how he has to thread his way through these chicanes. The car is in a bit of a slide as he's doing this, so very, very difficult to get this right. Actually, he's going to stop. Okay, so I guess we have to find somebody else. Okay, here comes... Who is this? This is Nicholas Kirsten. Okay, our second fastest car. So back inside we go. He's on the runway now, and now he has to thread his way through these tire barriers. A left one, now a right, and another left and a right. And notice how he is sliding just a little bit as he goes through these corners. Now on to the main straight. Kirsten is driving a BMW 320 Turbo. Grant is driving a Ford Escort RS Turbo. All right, heading past the hangars here, and now you have to thread through a very difficult left-hand chicane here. You can't even really see the opening until you're right on top of it. Now, heading down the backside to the left-hander. Sorry, I'll clean this up in a second. Now he's heading for the chicane once again. Left, right, and we've noticed a lot of people clipping these in the practice session and qualifying. The trick here is that you do not want, if you can avoid it, you don't want to turn the car over. And some people have been turning the cars over as they hit these barriers. One more time around here, you can see he's having to correct the wheel as he goes through the left-hand turn here, because, you know, especially with a turbocharged car, lots of power, all of a sudden there's a bit of lag. So keeping these cars under control is going to be a real feat, especially as the tires wear down, I would figure. I'm not sure how long they last in this series, but I'm sure that there's wear factored in here, and that is going to be a difficult situation probably for these drivers, as you can see all the marks there as they are braking from the corner. All right, one more time around with Nicholas Kirsten here. Let's take a look at it from the outside, actually. You can see him threading the needle here. Back to the right, now back to the left again. You can see the car is in just a little bit of a slide. There he goes through the take, and he's going to stop right there. So, Lipinski. He's just exited that fast chicane, now coming down to the left-hander. You can see the slide there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of that this evening, which a lot of drivers like to do. I think we are going to the race session now. Yes, we are. All right. So I'll proceed to the front of the grid, and we will give you the running order, the starting order, as they do their one lap. It's going to be one recon lap followed by a rolling start. So not a standing start like we have in Formula One. And Grant Riddall set the fastest time in qualifying, 56.178 seconds. Remember, 40 laps around this track. Should be very, very interesting. All right, getting ready to go here. Okay, there we go. All right, so on the pole, we have Grant Riddall, D&W Team Zaxspeed. In second, Anders Nilsson, Emo Klein Racing Team number 12. In third, Nicholas Kirsten in the first BMW, Walter Brunn. Fourth, Alberto Aquino in the Warsteiner BMW. Fifth is Cezary Lipinski, Karl-Heinz Becker BMW. Look at this beautiful bodywork on Richard Coxon's Rodenstock Werth Team number 5 BMW. Tim Hilla is starting 7th in the Jägermeister Racing Team BMW. 8th is John Team. 9th, Richard Wilkes. 10th, Liam Dolan. 11th, David Watman. 12th, Simon Watman. 13th, Robin DeVos. 14th, Ray Riddall in that Zaxspeed Mampe entry number 3. 15th will be Juha Boss. 16th, Ricardo Mendez in the only Lotus Esprit. Nick Holliday, Fruit of the Loom car. 18th, Martin Lucena. 19th, Mikael Drexler. 20th, Jonathan Asserclinth. 21st, Jules Bouchard. 22nd, David Yunt. 23rd, Claudio Augusto in an Alpha. And 24th is Bruno Chacon. And we are underway already. It appears, yes. Cars heading through the first turn. Grant Riddall has picked up the lead. Anders is in second. Kirsten is in third place. Now they have to thread their way through this very tight chicane on the back side of the course. Very, very critical section here. You have to make sure that everybody gets through here without any trouble. It appears they are. Grant in the lead. Nilsson second. Kirsten third. Lipinski is in fourth. Fifth is John Team. Sixth, Alberto Aquino. 7th, Richard Coxon in a guest drive. 8th is Tim Hill, and 9th, Richard Wilkes, and 10th is David Watman. Here they car back onto the main straight, which is the runway. Through the chicane. And you cannot have two cars going through there at once, so you got to funnel down at some point. But, oh, look at that. Boss making an excellent move there on DeVos. So it appears we're off to a clean and safe start here as Grant completes lap number 1 of 40. They're now on lap number 2. So it will be really interesting to see. And oh no, Martin Lucena has already left the race. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened here. Yes. Oh my goodness, he ran into Ricardo Mendez in the Lotus. That's what happened. And apparently hit one of the outside barriers. As a result, that was enough to the damage from that collision. And then hitting those cones, you can see he lost a wheel there. So that's the end of the day for Martin. That's really too bad. Coming through now to complete lap number 2. Everything looks pretty standard here. People are trying to drive as cleanly as they possibly can. Grant Making the most of his pole position. Nilsson right with him, though. Looking back from Grant's car at Nilsson. Coming down to the chicane. And both of them getting through very cleanly. Claudio Augusto is out of the race now. And that happened a while ago. I don't think we're going to be able to see that. But unfortunately, out of the race. So Grant is well positioned up front. Seems to have the measure of Anders for the moment. These are both Ford Escort RS turbos. Oh boy, Grant getting a big slide on there as he comes through the first turn. Looks like he lost a bit of time there to Nilsson. We're riding in board with Nilsson right now. Heading through the chicane. You'll notice here, look, you can't even see the opening until you're right on top of it. Yellow flag. Looks like somebody might be in trouble there. Didn't see anybody, but oh my goodness, there's some tires there. They're out of place, so something went on there. But now onto the all-important runway, and you have to get the power down cleanly here. Grant heading through chicanes. You can see Grant tapping the brakes there, just trying to keep the car under control as he heads through these chicanes. These two lapping very similarly in the 58 second range. Now into turn number one. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this is an 11 race series with venues in Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, I believe, and in Austria. So it's going to be a wide variety of places, a variety of airport tracks, but we'll also visit the Nürburgring at some point, which is going to be great, and also Hockenheim. Look at this now. Anders trying to get some purchase on the inside. Grant can't get it done. But he's definitely staying right with him. Let's look a little further back in the pack. There's little Al doing well in 6th place. Tim Hilla. And Coxon right behind Richard Wilkes here, seeing if he can get some get a position up here on Wilkes. Coxon is not test driving. He is guest driving in this series, and as they come into this turn here, he's sizing up Wilkes. It's nice to see Coxon behind the wheel again for a change. I'm sure he's enjoying himself. And this is a race that it takes a lot of precision, but it's not as long as most of our races. 40 laps. It ought to go by in a little more than an hour, I would think, roughly that. There's Simon Watman, or Nick Holliday actually, bookended by David Yunt and Simon Watman, but Yunt is going to try to take him on the inside, and he has him there. Looking from the inside, you can see Yunt on the inside in the car number 3. There he goes. David Yunt's car is not turbocharged, it's normally aspirated, so that's an interesting comparison between Nick Holliday. Actually, Nick Holliday is driving Dante Barbera's car, and it's also normally aspirated. So that would make that a more even matchup there. Watman actually giving way to both of these cars. Watman's car definitely is turbocharged. Moving down to the final turn once again. So things a bit spread out towards the middle. Coxon still pursuing Richard Wilkes. Tim Hilla pursuing John Team. Kirsten, who fell back at the start. Slapinski up to third place, 2 places up from where he was. Nicholas Kirsten down 1. And look at this, Nilsson getting very close to Grant Riddall now. And they got Bruno Chacon just ahead of them. He's driving a very unique car. Has a very distinctive wedge shape. And they're getting bottled up behind him right here. It's nothing that Chacon's doing wrong. It's just the nature of the circuit. Now, excellent opportunity for Anders to attack here. He's hoping that he'll be able to get by Chacon, and Chacon gives them both room. But right now, Anders right on the back door of Grant Riddall's Escort. 2 very evenly matched cars here. Through the chicane. And there's Slapinski in third, who's actually not dropping back too much. Slapinski driving a turbocharged BMW. Onto the runway once again. And if we go back from Slapinski, we see Kirsten, number 4, also turbocharged. And a lot of action here going on. Oh, Chacon is actually having a really hard time making room for people as they're coming through. That's very dangerous, but it looks like he's able to do it. But it's definitely much more congested down here. Look at Slapinski. He's very close to Nilsson now. You can see Nilsson just ahead. Grant Riddall in the lead. This is very exciting stuff. We're on lap 10 now out of 40, so the race is will be about a quarter of the way finished. Heading now down to the left-hander. It appears that the 2 Escorts... Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that oversteer that Cesarius had to contain there. That was pretty amazing. But that lost him some time. Going forward now to Nilsson. Nilsson right there with Grant. Beautiful work weaving through those chicanes. As they complete lap number 10, now into lap number 11. Bouchard is out of the race. Not sure how that happened. Let's see if we can catch it. No, it was a while ago, unfortunately. But my guess is... Oh, here's Asserklinth actually exiting the pits right now. Apparently he had some kind of damage that needed repaired. He is running in 21st place in his BMW, so... Probably going to be lapped by the leaders before long here. In fact, yes, there's Liam Dolan and Chacon, so it appears that he's actually, yes, he's lost several laps here. And Tim Hilla out of the race. Tim Hilla is out. How did that happen? Let's see if we can go back here, because it just happened a second ago. He was just going down the list. We'll see if we can catch what happened. All right, here it is. It looks like a collision with a chicane is what happened here. All right, I'm going to run it backwards here to see what we can get. Oh, he was on his roof. My goodness. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Heading through the chicane, and he clips the tire barrier, and that's just enough to send him kittywampus, and he's out of the race. That's really too bad for Tim, but that's the danger that you run here. Here's Bruno. Take a quick look at his car. He's running a very, very interesting car. Has a really brilliant wedge shape to it. It's a Lotus Europa Turbo. Let's get a better look at it. There it is. Very interesting looking car. And it's the only one in the field that I'm aware of. And it appears that he's the last car running at the moment, 19th. Yes, that is the case. Back with Grant in the lead. You can see that Nilsson is still right there with him. 2 Ford Escorts. Chicanes once again, starting lap number 14, and this 3 has really broken away. They've really broken away from 4th place, which is Nicholas Kirsten coming through now, and then you've got Coxon and Wilkes together. Wilkes right in front of Coxon. Coxon doing his very best to try to catch Wilkes as they come to this chicane here. This is definitely a case, I think, of taking advantage of other people's problems. The only difficulty there is if they hit one of these barriers in front of you and you need to take evasive action, you may not be able to. Heading down now, you can just see Kirsten. Yellow flags in this area, so something has happened. Somebody is out of the race. And it appears to be, I don't see anyone out of the race just yet. It's Chacon. My goodness. All right, let's take a look at what happened here. That's too bad. We were just talking about him. Commentator's curse. He might have blown his engine. No, his engine's running. So he must have had... No, that's it. His engine is dying there, so it looks as if it was an engine failure. Interesting. Okay. Oh, leaders now coming up to lap Simon Wattman, and look at how close together they are. Grant and Anders Nilsson right together. Grant following Simon. You can see Ricardo Mendez just ahead in the Lotus Esprit. DeVos getting out of the way of this group. That's the one advantage of having these runways. If you're being lapped and you're caught at the right time, you can make room for people. Whoa! Look at Ricardo Mendez light up the tires on his Lotus as he's hauling it to a stop. Grant accelerating now. Heading down the backside of the course, close to the hangars. And Grant is going to want to get past Mendez as quickly as possible. The more time that he's stuck behind him, the more that Nilsson will be able to reel him in. And there goes Grant by. Is Nilsson going to get by at the same time? Yes, because of the width of the runway is able to do it. So, but he did lose a little bit of time there. Chlapinski still third. Nicholas Kirsten fourth. Oh, Coxon has gotten himself ahead of Wilkes. So Coxon moves up to 5th place. Wilkes drops to 6th. They're both still doing good. Coxon is 1 place ahead of where he started. Wilkes 3 places ahead of where he started. Team here is being pursued by Alberto Aquino, who actually had a lackluster start. And there's a yellow flag up here. Somebody has hit the barrier again. It's Coxon! Coxon is out of the race. My goodness. Let's have a look at what happened here. Coxon heading through the barriers. And he just clipped the end one, and that was enough to send him sideways. Oh, that's too bad because he was having a good race. He had just gotten past Wilkes. We didn't see it, but it was a definite step up the ladder. And he's concluding, I guess, that his car is not worth continuing with because he is... No, actually, he is continuing. He is still in the race. He's 8th, but caused a yellow flag locally. So he is not out of the race. He keeps going. It's number 5. BMW 320 turbo with that really unique front bodywork. Aquino in 7th, still pursuing. And Raberdahl's out of the race. I think this is another one that happened. No, here it is. So here's what happened to Ray. My goodness, so a lot of people are falling by the wayside, and it's due to these chicanes. That's in large part what's going on here. Let's see what happens here. Here's Ray heading through. Uh-oh, he's smoking. No, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with the chicanes. That's a tire from another car. His engine failed. So Ray Riddall exits the race with engine trouble. Grant Riddall continues to lead. And Cesarius is now in second. Nilsson has dropped back. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Yeah, Nilsson, he's behind Schlipinski, so he evidently made some kind of mistake. Nilsson now running in third place. Mendez is a lap down there. So Schlipinski now is past Nilsson, and he has a shot at closing in on the leader. Schlipinski driving his BMW 320 Turbo, pursuing the Escort Turbo of Grant Riddall. There's a gap of 3 seconds he has to make up if he wants to get there, and the race is just about halfway over. An incredible number of DNFs at this point, and most of them are probably due to chicanes, some of them due to engines letting go. But these are very high revving cars, and with the turbocharging, you know, if you push them too hard, they will they'll become boiling teapots, as the saying goes. Schlipinski in second here. Is he closing? Yes, he is. He is closing down the gap. It is now 2.5 seconds, so we could see a race for the win here in short order. And Nilsson isn't dropping too far back. He's in third in his Escort. Fourth, Richard Wilkes. He's driving the BMW 320 Turbo for Holman Automations. And he must be really relieved that he doesn't see the yellow car of Coxon in his mirrors anymore. He's pretty much on his own now. Fifth is Team, followed closely by Alberto Aquino. So even though Alberto is down 2 places from where he started, he's still having a pretty decent race. Let's go on board here with little Al. That's Simon Watman, who's a lap down in front of him, but he's got excellent purchase off the corner here. You can see Team right there. John Team is running a BMW 320 Turbo as well. So the turbocharged cars definitely seem to have an edge on this circuit. Look at that, excellent exit speed. Now, he's gonna pull alongside. Can he get? He's all the way alongside. Is he going to go ahead of John Team side by side? Yes, he gets through, slides wide, but now Team has an opportunity to come back on the inside, takes the position back. Team back into 5th place, and here comes Coxon to add spice to this battle. He's on the inside. Looks like he's going to take little Al for 6th, and he does. So Coxon up 6th place after that. Oh my goodness, Coxon hits the barrier again. No! Coxon has spun out once again from 7th place. He was in 6th, now down to 7th again, but it looks like he's going to be able to continue. Now 8th, there goes Liam Dolan in 7th place. So Coxon having his share of difficulties with the tire barriers, but not so severe that he has to retire. Schlipinski in 2nd place, and you can definitely see that he is closing on the leader. The gap is now 1.9 seconds between himself and the leading Escort of Grant Riddall, your pole sitter. Coming down now to start lap number 23, so the race is halfway over. And I'm certain that tire management is coming into the minds of a lot of these drivers. These cars, especially the turbocharged cars, generate a lot of wheel spin when the turbo kicks, and you don't want to wear out your tires that way. Trying to keep clean and trying to maintain control of the car is a big challenge in this series. You can tell just by the way people are sawing at the wheels and the way that the cars slide under acceleration. The gap is now down to 1.7 seconds, so it's definitely closing down. Whether Grant is taking it easy and just trying to be careful, I don't know, but he's got another car he has to lap up here. It's David Watman, and David is going to probably pull wide here and let him get by. Yes, he does. Lipinski closely pursuing them, and you can see that for the trouble that he had that we didn't see, Nilsson has not dropped too far back. Also a case of engine management. Nobody wants to be blowing an engine. Lipinski there in second, Nilsson third. And now we have a long gap back to the fourth place car. This is Mendez, who's a lap down. And here finally is Wilkes, who is in fourth place. Grant Riddall stretching his lead a little bit now to 2 seconds. Lipinski looks like he might actually start to come under attack from Nilsson here. So it may not be a case of can he catch the leader. It may turn into a situation of can he maintain second place. We do have a trivia question that we'll ask, but we're not going to do it now because there's just too much going on as there's a yellow flag. Nick Holliday is backwards, apparently having some kind of difficulty with the chicanes. But he's able to continue, which is good. Yeah, Nilsson is definitely closing in here on second place Lipinski. The gap is only a second and change. And the gap has increased between Cesarius and the leader. It's now around 2 seconds, a little more than 2 seconds, 2.5 now. So it looks like Grant was able to respond to the challenge there. So yeah, it's very quickly going to turn into a can Lipinski hang on to a second place situation. Wilkes in fourth, fifth John Team, sixth Alberto Aquino, seventh Liam Dolan. Eighth is David Yunt. He benefited from Coxon having that altercation earlier. Juha Boss is in 10th. 11th, David Watman. There's Nick Holliday continuing. So Holliday, well, he missed the chicane there, but it seems his car is in decent trim. He just got out of rhythm there. Mendez in 13th in the, oh my goodness, he hit one of the barriers there and smoke pouring off one of the tires. So clearly something not quite right there, but here comes Wilkes to put him a lap down. And that's all the people who are running, it appears. Watman is in the pits right now. No, he's in the garage. He's out of the race. So we really only have 13 cars running. That's how decimating this race has been in such a short span of time. Only 16 laps. To the front three cars pretty evenly spaced. We're back down to a second now difference between Grant Riddall and Cesarius Lipinski. Looking back from Grant's escort. Head into the first turn. Yep, Lipinski definitely closing now. It could be that tires are starting to play a role in this situation. You hear that tweet there? That's the turbocharger. Down to the last turn. Look at how close Cesarius is now. Looking from the inside of his car, the gap is 1.2 seconds, and he's got 2 seconds between himself and Anders Nilsson. Doing this perfectly every lap has got to be really stressful for these guys. I mean, you're running literally inches away from those barriers. So now it's down to a little less than a second. Look at how he slides through there. Very difficult to control these cars at speed. Through the backside chicane, it looks like actually that gave Grant a little bit of a cushion. He's got 1.5 seconds now. Now it's coming down because they're of the accordion effect. But very soon we're going to be looking at 10 laps to go here, and it'll be show and tell time at the front. Wilkes is in fourth still. Oh, look at this. Aquino has gotten ahead of John Team. So Alberto Aquino now in 5th place. These are both turbocharged cars, so John Team is no slouch. I'm sure he's going to try to get that position back. Look at the tentative way that Alberto Aquino is entering that corner. And you can see oh my goodness, Coxon's out of the race. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Here's Coxon just a little bit ago. Going into, oh my goodness, no, he hits the barrier and the car is in pieces. That is a definite DNF. That is that's really too bad for Coxon. Meanwhile, here's Liam Dolan and John Team. As I mentioned, Alberto Aquino is up to 5th now, and Dolan looks like he's going to try to make a move on Team. Liam is actually in a normally aspirated car. You can tell because you can't hear the whistle of the turbo. John Team, on the other hand, is turbocharged. Heading into the corner. He's taking a sharper angle there than Team. He might actually be able to get alongside him here if they can get good purchase through the chicane. Oh, Team actually hit the chicane there, so he's a bit out of sequence now in terms of, well, not sequence, but just rhythm, I would say. Oh, and Liam Dolan hits the chicane, so there you go. It's really difficult to maintain concentration, especially after you've been running for a little bit here, even though this is a sprint race of sorts. Grant still in the lead. There are now, after they come back by this time, there'll be 10 laps to go. They're on lap number 30 out of 40 right now, or 31 now. So now there are 10 laps to go in this race. For the first round of our 1979 DRM Division 2 series. Grant Riddall still in the lead, 1.7, so he's been able to pull out the lead a little bit. Susparius is in 2nd. Nilsson's in 3rd. Wilkes, a long way back, 29 seconds in arrears, is in 4th. Aquino is in 5th. Team 6th. Dolan 7th. David Young is up 14 places from the start. He's taken advantage of a lot of other people's issues. U-Haul Boss 9th, also quite far up the field, 6th places. 10th, David Watman and Nick Holliday. This is actually a battle right here for 10th place. Let's hang with this for a moment. That's David Watman right in front of Nick Holliday. Is he going to try to take him at the end of the straight here? I would think he'd at least have a look at him. Goes down the inside. Can he get the... No, he can't. Well, let's have a look. He's taking a sharper line, and yes, Holliday... Well, wait a minute. Nope. Watman had more speed on the outside. He maintains 10th place. Holliday stays in 11th. Nothing's changed at the front. Still Grant leading. But look at how close this is between Holliday and David Watman. These are both non-turbocharged engines, normally aspirated. Heading into this second chicane. Here's a car just ahead of them. Very good job. Did not hit anything. Now they're heading down to the turn again. Nick is not as close as he was last time, so David should be able to maintain the position. Heading into the last turn. My goodness, there's a barrier back there that went flying. That's Wilkes. He's up to 3rd. What? Uh-oh, what happened? Schlipinski out of the race. Schlipinski out of the race. What happened? He was the main competition for Grant Riddall. What happened here? My goodness. He's outside the track, so something serious occurred. And this is back by where the hangars are. So he hit... Oh, this is a multi-car accident. More than one car. It looks like he might have been lapping somebody. Oh no, let's see. Oh, I really hope this is what I think it is. Schlipinski. Oh no! So it was another car entering the track. from a spin. Let's see if I can see who that is by going through the list here. There was a car that was rejoining the track. It was John Team. John Team rejoining the track and drives right into Schlapinski. My goodness. Well, there's going to be some words about that, I can guarantee you. My goodness. Team re-entering the track. That's really, really unfortunate. I mean, we always tell people, make sure that you are sure that there's no problem entering the track, but Grant was very lucky to get by there. And so now, actually, there's another development we need to take into account. Grant is not in the lead anymore, it's Nilsson. So somehow Grant fell back in that situation. Must have made some kind of error prior to that collision. He was very lucky to avoid getting hit. But he is in second place now. Nilsson is back in the lead. And remember, Nilsson had some kind of a problem of his own that set him back. So we'll see what the gap is here. We're getting down to decision time here. It's about a 2-second gap. It vacillates between 1.5 and 2. Grant, who led most of the way, now finds himself in second place. He must catch Nilsson to win here. Nilsson started in second place, so these guys have been ahead of the field most of the way. And after that really unfortunate accident with Schlapinski and Team, they don't have any competition anywhere near them. If you look at the clock there, the green bit, it says how far away Richard Wilkes is in third place. He is 38 seconds behind, so they don't have anybody to worry about except the two of them. They can duke it out to the end here. So Grant now trying desperately to close on Nilsson. A lot of this is probably going to come down to who has saved their car the best. Gap is relatively about the same, isn't changing too much. Wilkes is still on the, that's how far behind Wilkes is from this duo. He's still on the front stretch. Dolan in fourth place, taking advantage of the retirements. Alberto Aquino in fifth. And then you have Holiday actually letting these guys by. I guess he's a lap behind. No, actually he wouldn't be. That's interesting. He isn't. Now he's with David Watman. I wonder why he let them by in that instance. Interesting. But this is pretty close as well. David Watman running right behind David Yunt. Nick Holiday in the background there in the light blue car. All these Beamers. Dolan could potentially catch Wilkes here, but it would take a lot of effort. Okay, the gap to the leaders is closing slightly, but not fast enough really for Grant to make any inroads here. So for some reason, Grant lost the lead. We're not sure how. It might have been traffic. It might have been a chicane. Oh, no, no, no! Grant now is definitely in big trouble! Grant hits the chicane. Tires off. He's out of the race. Oh, my goodness. That's it. He's done. Unbelievable. Just that's all it takes is one small gap. And now Nilsson, all he has to do is complete the next 3 laps, and he's got his first victory of the season in DRM Division 2. All he has to do, and he doesn't have to hurry, because Wilkes is way far behind, 43 seconds in fact, so Nilsson does not have to hurry at all. He could coast his way to the finish now. There's no competition. Wilkes is still showing in third, but eventually will be second. There he is, and he goes up to second place. Liam Dolan is in third, so the real race now is going on here for second place. Dolan closing in on Richard Wilkes. And look at that, he's actually getting very close to Wilkes. Dolan looking for a chance to get second place here. He's up 7 places from the start, so he's had a great race thus far. And look at Wilkes, he's slow out of the chicane. Here comes Dolan, looking for a spot down the inside. The acceleration in Wilkes' car is just a bit too much for him. Down the inside, very, very close, oh my goodness. He's on the outside, gets through. Dolan into second place. Wilkes down to third. Fourth is Little Al as they head through the chicanes one more time. That was a very risky pass by Dolan, but he was able to make it stick. Dolan is driving a normally aspirated car, and Wilkes driving, I believe, looking at my notes here, his car is turbocharged. So if we go on board, so there's a very different way of generating power here between these two, but he is not going to let up. I'm thinking he's going to try to counterattack here. But anyway, we better get back to the front. Yes, Nilsson is on his final lap now. He didn't get flustered after the early problems that he had, and now just by way of attrition and sticking to it, he's going to have his first win in DRM Division 2 coming around the last corner now. All he has to do is get through these chicanes one more time, and he's got it. Nilsson accelerating out of the last turn through chicane number 1. Through chicane number 2. And there it is. Nilsson has won the first round of DRM Division 2 at Diepholz Airfield in his Escort. Excellent work. Second place, Liam Dolan is actually pulling away now from Richard Wilkes. Heading down the backside of the course, now downshifting for the corner. It looks like he'll be able to hold off Wilkes. Wilkes, my goodness, slides to a stop. He actually hits the barrier. This could be a problem here because there is Aquino. He took over. He's finishing third. So Aquino is going to finish in third. Dolan is second. There's Dolan finishing second. Here's Aquino third. What an incredible performance. Here comes Wilkes. He's going to finish fourth just in front of Holiday and some other cars. Fifth is going to be David Gunn. Sixth, Juha Boss. Seventh, David Watman. Eighth, Nick Holiday crosses the line. Ninth, Ricardo Mendez. And Wilkes actually has a big accident there at the end, but at this point it doesn't really matter. 10th, Grant Riddall. So he's going to pick up 1 point if he stays there, if he's classified. Actually, the rules may not allow him to have that point because he didn't cross the line after the winner did. So that could be a problem. 11th is Slipinski out of the race. These are all DNFs. 12th, John Team. Actually, John Team would not have been a DNF. 13th, no, he was a DNF, actually. 13th, Coxon. 14th, Watman Simon. 15th, Nicholas Kirsten. 16th, Ray Riddall. 17th, Michael Drexler. 18th, Robin DeVos. 19th, Bruno Chacon. 20th, Tim Hilla. 21st, Johnny Aces. 22nd, Jules Bouchard. 23rd, Claudio Augusto in the 1 Alfa Romeo. 24th, in the last car, Martin Lacina. So Nilsson is the winner, and there he is in his garage. So that was a very, very eventful first round for this series. Very difficult to keep track of everything that's going on. We're going to go to the trivia question now for all of you. Well, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's coming up next. Coming up next at ISO, and this is on Sunday, February 2nd, the 1979 DRM Series Division 2, Round 2 of 11, and this will be at the Hockenheimring, I believe. Second race of the season, yes. And that uses the full Hockenheimring, not just the stadium section. So that should be a really interesting race. It'll definitely push the cars to the limit of their terminal velocity. That's on Sunday, February 2nd. The race starts at 2000 CET. And 1 week later, on the 9th, the Indy cars return for the second round of our 15-race PPG IndyCar World Series. It's the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, the Monaco of America in a lot of ways. and that's going to be happening on Sunday, February 9th. Johnny Aces will have coverage, green flag at 2000 CET. Trivia question. Who won the Division II DRM race at Diepholz on July 22nd, 1979? Was it A, Manfred Wickelhawk, B, Hans Heyer, or was it C, Harald Ertl? Time's up. I'm going to wait and see if anybody wants to take a guess on the YouTube chat. Barry Lynn Wilson says C. Jakob Fredrickson says higher, and Nilsson says C. Well, guess what? Those of you who said higher, you are correct. It is Hans Heyer who won this race in 1979. Jakob pointing out that Ertl was the champ. All right, so that pretty much closes out the broadcast to the first DRM race of the season, the Division II. We're only doing Division II so we can focus on those cars in particular. And we're looking forward to seeing you for our IndyCar race that's on the 9th, but also we're going to be broadcasting this race, the race that comes after this one, number 2, on the 2nd of February. So I'm looking in the green room. I don't see anyone, so we're just going to close this out then. This is Jason White saying so long, take care, and be safe.